Hi, I'm Phyllis from the Doll Corner, and today I want to show you a few dolls that I had made back in the late 80s and early 90s. And I enjoyed making them, and I have some UFOs around here, so I thought I'd show you how to make one of these dolls. And just give me a minute and I'll adjust you here. There, I think I have it. Now I'll move some of these out of the way, which I'll just let you have another look at them as I move them. This is probably one of the first ones I made. And this is a real sweetie. And this is my square dance couple. And my grandma and grandpa celebrating their 50th, I guess. Anyway, they're all dressed up. Just give me a second here and I'll be back. Now what you need, they're called a Swiss doll. And you need this is a piece of styrofoam formed so the mask will fit over top, just like that. And then you coat this with a thin coat of glue. And this is part of the reason I quit making them. I couldn't get the glue I was using. So I tried E600. And I don't know whether I got a bad tube of it or not, but it was just like jelly almost, and it wouldn't spread smooth. So I had some of this Gorilla Glue original, so I thought I'd try that, and it seemed to work pretty good. So I just coated it a thin coat and let it dry for an hour, but I didn't leave it quite long enough. And then you take your fabric, which is, that's not the piece I wanted. I cut it in this shape. That's the shape of the pattern. And it's a knit. And it's got some stretch, but it's not an over abundant of stretch. And that seems to work well. So after I had put my glue on, I let it sit for an hour because you want it to be able, you don't want the glue to come through your fabric. And if it's not dry enough so that you push it on and you don't want it to soak through the fabric. And then you take the fabric, and I'll show you with this. You put it on like this, center it, and then you press, sort of stretching it as you go. I like to press the eyes in like this and along the nose first. And work it down. And I find if your glue is the right consistency, the right dryness, and just push it in there and reshape it. But you see, after an hour, maybe it was the humidity, I don't know, but there was a bit of extra glue, I guess, got in there, and it came through the fabric. So I will take this off and do it again. But I've just been playing with this because it's been quite a while since I made them. And then when I just keep stretching it back over the glue, holding it to make sure it's got a good grip all the way through. use something to poke out the little, get it in those creases. And then I keep pulling it back. I bring it back to just past the mask and then put pins in it and let it dry for 24 hours and then I bring it after 24 hours. I come back and I stretch. I stretch this for like this and put pins down the middle of the back, or as close to the middle as possible. And put a little glue on it. You can glue the whole thing if you like, but I don't think it really needs it. And then when I've cut this off, then I bring this one over and do the same. And it's not going to ravel, but you can trim it fairly close. And then hand stitch it down the back. Now this one I didn't do a great job, but it's hard to get them just perfect. But the wig is going to cover it up anyway. But you want it neat as possible. And then this, I should be showing you. Then you take, after you got this all trimmed off, it comes up to the top like this. Well, then trim those dog ears off and take the back fabric and tuck it under the mask like this. Just tuck it under there. And then take this one. I can't do it because of those pins. But you tuck it under like that. And then take this top piece, and then when you have this trimmed off, you don't have as much to go under. And you tuck that under just like that. And it goes in pretty good when you haven't got so much on there. And then you can just take a few stitches along the top as well. And then after you have all that done, you can paint your face. Now I was just playing around with it because I didn't have the proper white paint for here yesterday when I was playing with it. But you want to paint the white on there first, I find. Because sometimes if you don't, your paint wants to bleed into the fabric a little bit. And I also took a pen mark. A laundry pencil is basically what I used. And then when that is perfectly dry, I like to give it a couple coats of white. Gives it a nice base. Then you take and you can finish painting the rest of your face. The eyebrows shouldn't come any further in the corner of the eye here. And if you run something flat from that angle to that, from the edge of the nose to the edge of the eye, then the eyebrow shouldn't go any further than that. And you can see I didn't get my paints out, so I had a red Sharpie here. Well, you can see how it bled into it. So I use acrylic paint, craft paints, and I mix textile medium with it. This is pretty well beat up, textile medium with the paint, and then I paint it. And then put some blush on her face. And I used to spray them when I was totally finished with them with some Scotch Guard. And that made it easier to, if you got something smudge on it, you could wipe it off very carefully. So when you get this all sewn up, then you have to make a body for it. And in the next video, I will show you how I make the body. And I make it out of the same fabric as this. So watch for the next video, which will be coming up soon. And please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Well, I should have said subscribe. Touch the bell. Give me a thumbs up. Share if you find these interesting. Follow me on Instagram. And if you have any questions, be sure and email me at dollfashion77@gmail.com. And I'll be back soon. Bye now.